anyone who might be a raw beginner in lathes, or particularly this particular model of lathe, I'd like to give you a rundown of what all the different knobs and levers do. And we'll start with the motor, which is in this particular lathe is located right down the bottom here. It partly uses the weight of the motor itself to provide tension on the big wheel. And you've got two pulleys you can change positions to alter the speed of the main spindle, which is driving the chuck. And of course, you've got a table on the front here which tells you how many RPM it will do depending on what positions you've got those pulleys in. So that's your main speed. Now you do have an alternative for getting very, very low speeds called back gear, and that's obtained by turning this lever and selecting the position back here, and also you have to pull this lever off to the left side, which I won't do right now, it's sticking, but there it goes. So that goes to that position for back gear, and it goes back to this position for a normal speed. And that gives you a much, much lower speeds than back gear. You can see it here in the selections that I have that are labelled AD. Get down to 38 RPM, whereas in a normal gear position you can get up to 1300 RPM, so it gives you a big range of speeds. So that's the main part of the system. Perhaps we'll go now to the bed of the lathe. Of course, there's parts of the bed, and the part you can move backwards and forwards is called the apron. And on the apron you have a cross slide that will move your tool laterally across the lathe bed from front to back. But you also have another one here which is for fine control of forwards and backwards. So it does, in this position, does the same thing as this big wheel, which moves the whole apron back and forth. This one, instead of moving the apron, just moves the tool holder. This is called a compound slide because you can undo two Allen keys screws at the back, grub screws, and alter the angle that this is on, so you can actually drive the tool along a particular angle to make it taper. Like a tapered cylinder. When you're doing this, you can actually lock the apron using this nut here. You just put a tool on that and tighten it up, and it'll stop the apron from moving, and then you rely entirely on using this handle to move the tool along the length of the lathe bed. And at the end we have the tailstock. It has a tapered hole in it called a Morse taper number 3, and you put your drill chuck in the back of there, or a center, dead center or a live center. Now this whole unit can slide backwards and forwards, and once it's in position you lock it into place with this lock lever, and then you can drive your drill head forwards with this movement here. It'll go forwards 2 inches. When you unwind it, it pops the chuck out. It has a pin down the center which pushes the chuck out when you unwind it, so it makes it quite easy to remove the drill chuck. I haven't got the main chuck on here. We've got a 3-jaw self-centering chuck, a 4-jaw chuck for holding asymmetrical objects, and I've also got a collet drive for holding very tiny objects very securely in a centered position. And also you can do a dog drive. I'll put all these parts away, but you can put another center in this end and a center in that end, and hold the piece of work between the two centers. So those features will come up later. Now on the bottom here we have the lead screw, which is here, and this drives the whole apron along if you want to by selecting the neutral position for this gear lever here, and when you lift this up, a half nut comes up against the lead screw and connects the whole apron to the lead screw, so that the lead screw can move the apron along the bed of the lathe backwards or forwards. Whether it goes backwards or forwards is determined by this lever, which can be in a neutral position so that the lead screw is just turned off when you're not using it, or you can push the lever in and up and it engages forwards motion, which is actually driving the tool towards the chuck, or you can put it in the opposite direction here, get reverse direction and make the tool move away from the chuck. So what are all these other gears for? These are your gear train, which determines how fast the lead screw is going to be turning. So it's quite important. It's normally it's supposed to be set up with a 40 tooth gear in the central position. The stud is called the stud gear, and it is supposed to give you metric threads. And here we have a table showing the amount of pitch you'll get on your metric threads. So if you have an A1 position, you're going to get 1.7 millimeters per turn. And if you go right down to the bottom to E8, you get 0.06 millimeters per turn of the chuck. So each time the chuck turns around one turn with the work on it, your apron is going to move ahead 0.06 millimeters, and that makes you a thread with a pitch of 0.06. Now to select all these different pitches, you've also got this gearbox, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions with the left lever and 8 positions with the right one. 5 8's are 40, so it's a 40 speed gearbox, and that allows you to select these different pitches that you're going to use for making threads. But actually, by putting in a different number of teeth in the stud gear, you can use a 48 tooth gear or a 56 tooth gear or whatever, and you can make it do non-metric threads. At the top of the image you see the two levers that select the gear position to use. You've got the gear train connecting in on the left side and the output going to the lead screw on the right side. And that tricky part is all done by calculating these gear ratios, counting the number of teeth on each gear in this whole gear train to figure out how fast it's going to move. And this has the two gears connected together in the middle there for converting to metric. If you take the number of millimeters per inch, that's 25.4, and divide it by 4, you get 63. And you'll notice that one of those wheels has 63 teeth. And that gives you your metric conversion. So by playing around with those, we can make it go to English, old imperial system. And on the copper plate here, we see the old imperial threads per inch, which the Americans will like. And on the next panel, with silver one, we see the pitches that you can get in millimeters. And to do that, to get all of these readings, you have to start changing the stud gear, which is fairly simple to do actually, to select the right number of millimeters per turn. So let's see if we missed anything out in terms of major control. Yes, we didn't talk completely about this section here on the apron. I've got it in a neutral position at the moment, which is what you use if you're using the half nut to connect directly onto the lead screw. However, there's an alternative method, and that is in the upwards position there. That's automated movement of the apron along the bed. Actually, I've got it set up to go really fast. Let's see what happens when I turn it on. So this has a clutch with it. This knob here is a clutch, so you can turn it off or on. Flying around. So what happens if I turn the clutch in, suddenly you see the lathe is operating itself, moving the apron along the its own. It's quite a quick pace because the gear settings come through. When you've got to the point you want, you can just turn the clutch off and it'll stop going. Turn the motor off, and we'll try this gear in its alternative position. We tried neutral in the middle, put it all the way to the bottom. That gives you a different automatic feed. Turn it back on again. And now, there it goes. So it's rather rapidly moving across the and I'm done. I just move to the left and that's it. I just set the lead screw on the fastest possible position with this particular gear train, and it does a ½ centimeter per turn. So that seems to be the longest pitch I can do, unless I can alter the gear train and speed up the lead screw that way, so I can make an even longer pitch, because I want to make an Archimedes screw, and for that I want a really long pitch.